Hi everybody, it's Lynn. We're going to start a peyote bracelet. So I have a number 10 beading needle here. I have some 8-pound fire line. And I'm going to use the 8-pound because we're using size 8 delicas. I'm using 8s so that you can see hopefully a little better. So I have my fire line here, and what I did is I took my pliers and just mashed it flat. See, like, like, oh goodness, this is gonna be hard to show you. But anyway, this is round, so I've just taken those pliers and made it flat so it'll fit through the eye of my needle. And what I do is I pull it down between my fingers like that, line up the hole on your needle, and just press it over your thread. And usually it's easier than that, so I'm sorry. Of course, I get on camera and it starts acting up on me. That's always the way, you guys. I'm trying to keep it in frame so that you can see what I'm doing, but I may have to get closer to this. Oh, got it. Okay. So I have a pretty long piece of fire line here. I would not advise you, if you are brand new to bead weaving, to start out with too much thread. It can be difficult to manage too much thread at one time. And also what I thought we'd do, just to create a little more interest, I have 2 different colors here of our seed beads, and we're going to do a bracelet that's 6 beads wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that aqua stripe down the middle. So we're going to pick up 2 of these, 2 of our aqua, and 2 of our white. Okay, so this is what our bracelet is going to look like. Okay, I'm going to bring those down to the tail of my thread, and I'm going to leave myself about an 8-inch tail. Actually, I'm going to leave a little bit longer than that because I'm not totally sure what kind of clasp I'm going to use. I have one out, but I don't know if it'll fit. So I'm going to leave myself plenty of room to attach my clasp on that end. So I bring the beads down and get a hold of them across my finger like that. And the first thing we're going to do is pick up a white bead, because this is the first bead and we want a bead to sit next to it. So we're going to pick up a white, skip that bead, and go through the next bead. Put your fingers there and just hold it and pull. And the first row can be really hard to get started, so just maintain your patience, and you may have to force that bead in place. What I mean by that is hold on to it where you want it and then pull your thread like so. Okay, the next one we're going to add is going to sit on top of this blue bead right here. So we want to pick up a blue. Skip that bead, go through the next. Hold on to that with your fingers and pull your thread on through. And they'll start to pop into place. That's the difference between delicas and seed beads, is they'll start to pop into place. Okay, so with peyote stitch, it's out one bead, skip a bead, through the next bead, always. So now we're going to pick up a white bead and we're going to go through our last bead there and pull. And that is what our first 2 rows look like when we get them done. Now what I do is I flip it because I always want to sew away from myself. And I see we're going to need a white bead. So pick up white. Okay, wait, let me back up here. What we have, these are called up beads. The 3 that stick out here, these 3 beads are called up beads. The ones that receive, that are down, are called down beads. So whatever down bead you have is the color you're going to pick up. Okay, so here we're going to pick up white and go through this one. Okay, next is blue. So we're going to pick up the blue and go through this one. Okay, next we have white. So we're going to pick up white and go through this one. Okay, now we've got another row on. We're going to flip it and pick up white. Come through there. Next, we're going to pick up the aqua. Go through the up bead. Next is white. Go through the up bead. And you guys, this is peyote stitch. This is all there is to flat, even count peyote. It's just skip a bead, throw a bead, skip a bead, throw a bead, continually. And because these are size 8s, this is going to work up fairly quickly. Because, you know, they're a lot bigger than the 11/0s. Okay? And this is what we have. And we just keep going. We pick up a white, go through the next up bead. Pick up an aqua, go through the next up bead. Right here. White, through the next up bead. I got my thread so long, y'all. I might have to cut it so I don't have to stretch it out so much. And you just keep doing this over and over and over until you get to the length that you want. You see that? Pay attention so that if one doesn't go down right, you can pop it down. Okay? Flip it. You guys, if you can thread a needle, you can do peyote stitch. Okay. That's how simple it is, y'all. And we're just going to keep going till we get the length we want. Whoops. Oh, always be careful not to pick up 2 at once because I've done that and not realized it and gone way on ahead and had to take it all apart and go back and fix it. It's a lot more likely to happen with the smaller beads than it is with the number 8s, but you know, this just becomes kind of like breathing, and you start to not really pay too close attention to what you're doing if after you've done it for a while. Y'all will get there. I know you will. But you do have to pay attention. And you see how quickly we've already got almost an inch done. So if you guys are interested in learning bead weaving, I'm going to show you more things that you can do with this rather than just do a flat, straight bracelet. Um, if you know basic peyote stitch, there is a lot you can do. And this is all there is to it. You just keep adding a bead, going through your next up bead. And you certainly, you know, if you were doing this all in one color, you don't even have to pay attention to which bead you're grabbing. You're just grabbing the same thing over and over and over. But I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting to look at anyway. And I thought it might make it a little bit easier to see with different colors. I wasn't sure about that. I hope y'all can see. All right, well, I'm going to pause the video for now and finish this and then come back and show you how I'm going to finish it off, okay? All right, you guys, I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, you guys, I decided not to finish this because I already have a bracelet that's almost identical, so I don't really want another one. But what I thought I'd come in and do is show you what I would do if I were finishing it. I have a clasp here. This is a slide clasp, and I just broke it. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you anyway because I'm going to take all this apart. What I've done is I've threaded the bracelet through the opening and I've got myself enough that I can hold on to. Okay, like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peyote these two pieces together. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm coming out of this bead here. I'm going to find a bead on that's already on the bracelet and come up through that bead. I'm going to do this just like I'm doing peyote. I'm just using beads that are already a part of the bracelet instead of picking up more beads. So now I'm coming out of a bead on the bottom part. I'm going to come through this up bead where I have folded it over. And then I'm going to find the corresponding bead on the bracelet and go down and catch that bead and go through it. Then back through this up bead on the fold over part. Find the one below it that corresponds with our down bead and go through that like so. Then come through your up bead on the fold over part and down through the one below it. Okay. And now what you've done is you've created a loop of beads that are going to go around this clasp. And you just go back and forth through this a few times to reinforce it. And you would basically do this if you had to change your thread in the middle of a project. You just weave in and out through the beads to tie your thread off. Now, this can be a little tedious, and this is just one of many ways to finish a project like this. You could add jump rings. You could do, they have these findings that, um, how do I say it? They slip over the edge of your project, and the beads are inside this little channel on those closures. I'll have to find one and show it to you the next time we do one of these projects, but it's just that simple. I'm going to go down to the bracelet part and go through a bead. It can be difficult to get back up, but you can. You just have to work with it. And y'all, this is so hard to show you online because it's tiny and hard to see. But I've gone through one on the bottom part. Now I'm going through this up bead in the center of the bracelet again. It's the fold over. Come through that. Go through one of the down beads. And you want to make sure you just go through one bead. You don't want to go through multiples because that'll cause you to skip. Okay, there we go. Just do that back and forth a couple of times until you feel like it's completely secure. And then to tie off your thread permanently, what have I done? I've tangled it up. There we go. When you're finished with your project, what you want to do is just weave back and forth through some beads in the center of your bracelet. So come into the bracelet, and wherever you can get that needle to pop out, that's fine. Bring it in and then just weave back and forth through some beads. And when you do that a few times, I promise you your thread is secure. It won't go anywhere. The main thing is to remember to change directions a few times because that's what really locks your thread in. Is when you go, okay, this time we're going this way. When I go through the next bead, I'm going to go this way. And then I'm going to circle back through that other bead again. So I've basically done this tiny loop right here that nobody will ever see, and it is completely secure. And And then you can just cut your thread and you are done. So that's our first little glance at simple bead weaving. We'll be doing more. I'll come back soon and show you how to bezel a rivoli because that's something that is very helpful to know. In the meantime, I'm just going to take this apart. I really don't want another bracelet like that, so I really didn't see the point in spending the time to make it. So I will tell you that taking apart peyote takes patience too. There's so much thread wrapped in there, you guys wouldn't believe it. So I'll save that for another time. But anyway, that is the most simple bead weaving that I know how to do. And the next thing I'm going to do with show you with bead weaving, I think, is we're going to do a right angle weave bracelet that is really pretty. And I know you guys are going to like that. You're going to want one, I promise you. And I think we will use either 6 or 4 millimeter pearls to do that. So that'll be our next video, and I'm excited to show you that. It's one of my favorites. I love it. And I do that same pattern a lot for brides. And it can also be done in a necklace. So if you guys like it and want the necklace tutorial, we'll do that too. But anyway, have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for being here and watching. And I'll see you soon. Okay? Bye bye.